Get to smash that like button. Subscribe. We need some subbies. Come on, you can do it. Late night. Woo, good vibes.
Found a spot in the shade. Good job.
Some efficiency going down here. Now I don't know what to do with these. We'll figure that out. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Late Night Playset. Hello, Instagram. I just sounded like my Jewish grandmother. Hello, Instagram. Let's see. Evening, everyone. Hello, Skip Ploss. Now, let's see. Get the comments going over here. And I know if there is one. Hi, guys. That's from somebody. Look at that. I can do that now. NG500.
Great.
I'm not going to try to sound that one out. I don't like how it sounds. But welcome back, everybody, to the Late Night Place. Bring it in here. Right. All right. Give me a second. Here we go. Not too bad. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is Tuesday, May 11th, 2021. Sunday. It's Tuesday.
The echo.
I don't think anyone else will have heard the echo. So I'm just going to be a lunatic as usual. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We are here. It's Tuesday. Nothing's going on. We're taking your calls and we're catching up. I've got all sorts of things to tell you about show-wise and otherwise, and I want to take your calls. I had an idea for what I wanted the subject to be, but that idea came to me too late. It's too good a subject, so I want to plant it for next week and say now that the subject for next week's Tradecraft Tuesday, sponsored by Tradecraft Farms and Mrs. Ryan getting medicated on the air. But we should also probably come up with a name for this whole thing. But anyway, for Talk to whatever it is Tuesday, it'll be your worst car buying story. Now that can be the worst car you've ever bought. Obviously, that's easy. Or it could be just maybe it was a really good car, but it was a really bad experience. I've had a lot of those.
I like those.
So whatever, your worst car buying experience. Next Tuesday, 1 week from tonight, 1 week from now. We don't want to talk about it now. Don't even bring it up. Don't think about it. But 1 week from now, that is going to be the subject. So please think about dialing us up live at 5 and telling us whatever your horror story is. Maybe it's at a dealership. Maybe it's at a private owner. I don't know. It could be anything. Estate sale. You know, there's all sorts of things that can. Anytime there's a transaction, there's an opportunity for that transaction to go wrong. And I can't even think of the thousands and millions and infinite ways a transaction or a relationship could go wrong.
Personalities collide.
Yeah. So what's happening over here on Instagram? How are you? Oh, boy. See, that's what happens every time I do that. All right. Old Porsche guys here. Mira Collision is here. 101. Hi, guys. Pete McNulty is here. D. Jackson is here. Rox Montreal is here. D. Dill. Getting high on the air. Best thing about the modern age. Yeah, no kidding, right? She can totally do that. You guys have seen what happens to me. I become totally useless. I mean, it's fine for me. Like, I have a grand old time, but oh God, the product. It's the same thing as trying to work on it. I mean, it's different sides of the brain. This is lighting up stuff that you need in order to believe you can fix yourself. That's what I think.
I would agree. It lets my brain think that way, and that helps me function creatively also. So this I'll have to fix later.
The physicality.
Yeah, but I'm not angry about it because of things like this. Tradecraft especially.
Hello, Jamie Tate Drums. We're going to talk about Tradecraft because I literally just got back from there less than an hour ago. But I wanted to say that Mrs. Ryan has MS, multiple sclerosis. If no one doesn't know that, this is Nicole. I'm Jay Ryan. This is Nicole Ryan. I don't think I did that part at all. Thank you for watching. If you've stayed with us this long, you're going to get something special. Stay tuned. Just a little while longer. She's got MS, so what you can't see here in the adorable little yoga pose and the beautiful Eames chair is that she can't fucking... She can't walk. She can't walk. She can't stand really, barely.
No.
I mean, like, if you have a cane and something like a wall to rest on, you can stand, but you can't just stand up on your own and have a conversation.
I have no balance, and half my body is shrunk, so it's like walking on a boat, I always say.
Yeah. So that's what's going on. Besides the pot, Nicole is awesome. Yeah.
Thanks.
I think with the pot, she's awesome. You should have seen her before. She was, I mean, on paper, you would call her very, very awesome. But if she had died then and there on any of those work trips and she got to the pearly gates,
Yeah, no.
I'm not sure how she would have been received.
Not well.
That's not my judgment. I guess it is a little bit. I guess it is a little bit. Sorry about that. Own it. I mean, now I'm sorry I said it. You know, I talk to my mother more frequently than I have it at other points in my life, and you know, people are interesting. And talking to her, I see my own flaws, and it makes me want to fix them, and that's a very good thing.
Yeah.
If you are aware, if you have the awareness about yourself, that you know, you're willing to admit that things are your fault sometimes, or whatever, that, you know, willing to take responsibility for your actions. Should I just say that? Adult behavior. I'm just talking about standard adult behavior. It didn't run very deep in my bloodline, so I'm breaking generational barriers and curses left and right by doing self-work and simply trying to be a better person daily. That was a whole tangent. Forget it. What do you want to talk about? Yeah. Okay. 101 Cars and Coffee. Me too. That's exactly it. If I could have this and just like continue on the conversation, grand. But I can't. I have that, and I gotta like go watch Raiders of the Lost Ark again. You know, for the 100th time. Because it's just so beautiful. Or something like that. I become a vegetable. Yeah. You know who was here? Zach Clapman from the Smoking Tire, you all know him, was here, and he called that couch lock. It was a term I'd never heard before, but wherever he was from, that was the term. the vegetative state you get when you become a couch potato. Couch lock.
He's from Santa Cruz, I think. That's a thing up there.
Yeah, they knew they knew what was up with weed way before the rest of us.
Yeah.
I grew up in puritanical Connecticut. Like, seriously, you guys don't understand. My nursery school it's still to this day run by Quakers in the woods. I swear to God, that's all true. It's connected to a church and there's a playground and everything, but it's all true. So like I grew up with those kind of freaking crazy values, you know? We were pilgrims as far as I was concerned. We weren't Amish because we had the cars and the stereos and stuff, but woof. And the sugar, of course. You know, how do the Amish, is the sugar not a problem because it's natural? Because I was, we talked about the Amish the other day with somebody else from Lancaster. I think it was our buddy, terrible at this. Anyway, you all know who I'm talking about. Right here, it'll come to me. And funnel cake, I was bringing up the funnel cake. That is, like any fried dough type of
Like at a
concoction.
carnival.
Oh, just like that, loaded with powdered sugar. So I wonder how that goes. And I wonder if the Amish, eat the funnel cake or if that simply is something they pass off to
Like
the people.
to buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
Well, I hope. I keep wanting to say Marchabeto, but that's a different guy. And Thumper, as we all know, is the gentleman from the toilet. At least you had Lime Rock. Weed and booze, different story. Oh, yeah, well, you're right about that. Oh, I'm not complaining about where we grew up. Yeah. I didn't drink either. So I all my friends smoked pot when they had plenty of pot in Connecticut, and especially my friends from Poughkeepsie. Made that sound like bad about Poughkeepsie. I just mean like they were from New York.
It's like Santa Cruz. Michael.
Poughkeepsie was the city compared to the sticks of Connecticut where I was from. And they all smoked pot, and I always drove. I was always the designated straight edge driver. Who was also the best driver. It's why I have more miles than like anybody I know. Should I have like long haul truckers?
I bet.
I've got a lot of miles on my back. The rally guys probably do, and like auto kennel. But other than that, you got to be one of those people who like drives 100 miles each day for work, each direction, like one of those type of things to beat it. All I did as a kid was drive. When I should have been doing everything else, studying, working, like all of the different things. I was like Matt Farah, like find a different road. But he was smart and made a business out of it because like that was his structure. You know, his dad is to this day one of the most well-respected businessmen in business, period. His dad used to occupy the CEO's office in the Chrysler building. No, not the Chrysler building, the Woolworth building, which is equally impressive, by the way.
That's amazing.
It's an equally impressive, equally old and ornate
trade
building.
craft guys tell me about his dad all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Apparel stuff. What's from Friends? Where does Rachel work on Friends? They run into him in the
Bloomingdale's.
elevator. No. Later, her dream job, and she runs into the real guy, and Phoebe has an affair with him, but it turns out not to be him.
I
They
forgot.
make ties, and
I'll think about it.
It's not Polo, but one of those. Anyway, that guy. It's like a handsome older guy with the gray hair, short, tan, very tan.
I'll get there.
He was within
Ralph
that
Lauren.
order. That's it. That's exactly it. She did it. Ralph Lauren. He worked within that organization, and in fact, one of Matt's cars, I think it's that Aston Martin, was like Ralph Lauren's car. Like that's why he has it. It was not that he ever wanted to buy that specific car, but like that one was ordered and spec'd for and by Ralph Lauren.
That's pretty rad.
Everyone else knows. Is that true? Do I have the right car on that one? I think it's true. I know you guys listen to the podcast and stuff. I watch on YouTube as best I can. Henry's. Hi, Henry. Henry, I'm so sorry about the other day. I was so confused about your name, and we were talking about the phones and stuff. In fact, we should do it again. And because our friend Will on Camera 3 is back in town. There he is. What's up, buddy? Will on Camera 3 has returned from his jaunt to Connecticut. He was there for 2 months. He spent some time with family, and he sold some. I know he did a lot of wrenching, and I know he sold some cars. And he showed up out of nowhere at Breakfast Club on Friday with the Aston Martin, which looked exactly like it did last time because it's been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Welcome back. Will on Camera 3. Hey! With that, the cameras on this show are iPhones. So if anybody has an iPhone 10 or newer in the drawer, iPhone 10 is pretty old now. We figured out it's like 5 or 6 years old. So if you've got one of those, and you're not like, it doesn't have a use at all. It's sitting in a drawer collecting dust. Please, we'll take it. Donate it to the show. Bring it up to Breakfast Club, or send me a DM, and I'll send you a message of how to get it to the mailbox and all that stuff. We would greatly appreciate it. We still need 2 more. We bought some, and then Will on camera 3 donated 1. And then credit goes to hey, it's Leo. Yes, it is. Hi, Leo. Credit goes to the LASD motorsports guy who, I never remember his real name. He's a super, super nice guy. You all know him as drives the Camaro with the...
That guy.
He gave us a phone, and it was in an iPhone 10 box and everything, and it was like, oh, thanks so much, buddy. But then the phone itself was not. It was older. It was probably whenever he bought the iPhone 10 a couple years ago, it's probably whatever it replaced.
It, yeah.
100%.
Thanks, buddy.
So thank you for that. Anyway, I gave it back to Bobby Bass, who will give it back to you. It was also, not only was it too old, it was locked with his own personal info in it, and like, I don't want that responsibility of having some fucking, no, again, excuse my language, but this one is very warranted, some fucking cop's cell phone with all his personal information on it. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Everything is on phones.
It's none of my business. That is above my pay grade. Or security clearance or something. So anyway, but thank you so much. Appreciate it. And then Will on camera 3, you will remain there. If you do watch Good Morning Vietnam this weekend, if you do donate a phone to the show, you get your own camera angle. It can be wherever you want. It can be like that. 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 In fact, it can't be like any of these because these are all taken. But you can find your own within this awesome creative space. I'm only half kidding, too. I mean, this was a joke in the beginning, and then it became so fun with Will, and we do genuinely need the phones. That like, let's do something with it so somebody gets something back. You will always be here in the studio, and that's cool for us. Look at that B-Zim. Hey, B-Zim, we know a K-Zim. Any relation? Shout out to Bob Miller. K-Zim. Ralph Lauren, 101 Cars and Coffee. You're so good. I should have looked over here. I had a 72 Olds Vista Cruiser. It was the neighborhood bus. Yeah, you did. That's that's the 70 show car, isn't it? Oh, there is so much going on in our life right now. It's ridiculous. And doing the show from home does not help anything.
That was the ice.
Yeah, I'm defrosting you heard.
I just heard the clink.
But the whole thing is unplugged. Okay, you know.
I stumbled by it.
The garage. Okay, so let's talk about the weekend. All right. If anybody was here last week, tell me what it was like, because I just found my vaccination card right before the show. I couldn't find it. It's because we left it here in the desk. Last time I showed up before this evening, I was in a sorry state, and it only got worse. I thought everything was fine, but I was like really high, and from whatever the shot was, fully vaccinated if anybody cares. I feel like Mr. Bean. Why was I saying that? Okay, so yeah, I was really in a weird headspace. The show flew by, and I don't remember doing work. I don't remember talking about anything important at all. Got a 68 Nova sedan in college for $150 and a bicycle. You gave a bike and $150 for a Nova sedan? That sounds awesome to me. Mr. Notice, I was drunk and had to sign off. Okay, well, I had just had the shot, and I wasn't drunk or high or anything, but I was, you know what I mean, from this. But I really felt like it, and looking back, I watched it back because I was like, I'm curious. and I definitely acted it. So the weekend got stranger from there because that show was fine. The whole night, I felt like a rock star. I really did. And we got that thing put away, and I went to that Motor Trend event I told you about. We got all these little, I was glad I was fully vaccinated because I got all these little, like a couple of these to hang.
Right.
We put them for,
yeah,
we're kind of over all this, but but that was really, really fun. So shout out to Motor Trend and Karen for setting that up and having us and everything. And it was just really fun. I got to park between Sean Lee and Johnny Lieberman in. It sounds like a brag. It is a brag. I didn't ask for it though, but like front row parking at the drive-in. It was really cool.
Pretty good placement.
It was really cool, especially for my first drive-in experience, which, as you recall, we figured out on the show last time. I do remember that. Doesn't everybody feel like they've been to a drive-in? Turns out you haven't. You've just seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Back to the Future. You just couldn't think of anything good to do, Cameron. All right, so let's talk about that. You're exactly right, Kayla Marzo, and you cracked me up the other day with that. He sent me a message. He goes, all right, well, keep it in. I'm thirsty. That's what it is, and I thought I didn't have a water. Either Chad didn't put it in my normal spot or I already moved it and I forgot. Either way, the night was fine, and it was very entertaining because at some point I asked, so how does this thing work anyway? You know, we're all there an hour before doing like a mingle not a meet and greet. I guess a meet and greet, whatever. And somebody says, Sean's just like, oh, you just tune your radio station to whatever. It'll come up on the screen. You don't have to, and just put your whatever. And I go, oh, well, that should be interesting because anyone who knows us know that there is no radio in Yellow Car. We deleted that almost as soon as we got it. And everyone started laughing, and Lieberman was like, no, you can get an app. There's an app for that. You get an app, you know, the FM app or whatever. And Sean was like, yeah, there's apps. There's all sorts of apps. I was like, oh my God, that's totally right. So the thing started. I don't think anything about it because I'm like, this is solved. I just got to download a thing on my phone. When I go to do it, first of all, it's like a trial subscription. Every single one, like, well, free week, but you got to sign up for the thing. I'm like, well, fine. I just got to remember to cancel that one, whatever. And then it didn't have the radio station for the Rhodium Drive-In Theater that we were at because it was probably like some ham radio signal. It's whatever. It's whatever isn't on the radio in that geographical area, so that they can get a good signal.
Right.
You know. Well, we're in LA, and these apps only have the radio stations. It doesn't allow you to just tune to something. You know what I mean? There isn't a tuner. It's all digital interface fed from some room. And this place doesn't have that.
That is the weirdest, dumbest thing.
So anyway, I sat through and somebody had, because when they were doing the announcements in the beginning, you know, they wanted to be able to hear it. So like there was an SUV with like the tailgate up, you know, 3 or 4 over. On the other side of Lieberman. So, like, the whole beginning, you know, I can hear the announcements. And, hey, flash your lights if you can hear me. Oh, I can hear them, you know, doing the whole thing. Of course, nothing is coming through me. So the moment the movie started, and logically, these people, of course, shut the frickin' thing. I couldn't hear crap. So I waited for a few minutes, and eventually I just pulled away. I texted both the guys, Sean and Lieberman. Lieberman, who was there, I just think he's one of the greatest humans and all. I'm not going to, he's not the type of guy who would care either way, but he was there with his nephew, and his nephew's mom just passed away recently, and just the whole thing was so cool. I was like, man, he probably would have done this anyway, but it was, we were having a conversation about you, so we were already kind of like getting a little emotional about it and your condition and all this stuff. And I don't know, he just said that, and it really hit me in the heartstrings, to so much so that I sent Johnny Lieberman a message on Mother's Day. Anyway, I texted those guys, and then I got the hell out of there and came home to you. But shout out to Motor Trend, and we love that movie. Mrs. Ryan and I ended up watching that movie here at home on the media player. What's it called? Talladega Nights. The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, which of course you worked on. And then as we were watching it, I told Karen, I was like, yeah, I think she worked with Will and Sasha. And then as we were talking about it, we realized that, oh my gosh, John C. Reilly's in it too. And of course you worked with him. And then when we were watching it back, like everybody, Andy Richter's in it. You worked with him for years.
The whole movie, there was someone every minute.
Every scene, yeah. We watched it. Full sound. No app required. And then, okay, so I came home from that Rhodium thing, and I went to go check the mail, right? So I've driven home now, feeling fine, rock star. Everyone's like, man, I was laying down the day. I went down to go check the mail, and I don't know, because of the place is kind of a courtyard, it's indoor, outdoor. The mailbox was outside, and I guess it was I don't know, first time, I don't know what the hell, but the chills hit me, and I buckled. I guess the fever just punched me in the face is what happened. and I didn't realize I had it probably already creeping up from the shot. And I went to bed. It was the worst night's sleep I'd had up until that point of my life, I think, maybe. And we had to get up for Breakfast Club the next morning. So I did. And I got into the shower, and I got back in bed, and I brushed my teeth, and I got back in bed, and I got dressed, and I got back in bed, knowing, I mean, like, we got to get these donuts and coffee to Breakfast Club, even if we don't stay. We did end up making it. We did end up staying. That was more of a blur than this show. I'm so sorry for everybody else. I know that I was laying down on the ground a lot in the shade and stuff, trying to just
Yes, you
couldn't
were.
regulate my temperature. I'd go walk somewhere to say hi to somebody, and then I'd come back and lay down on the ground. Like, basically, I felt like all of the symptoms they told me. Well, I got the COVID, basically. So my celebratory, I got the shot GVBC was not all that awesome. But you were all awesome, and the cars that were there were awesome. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
That was that. Now, Saturday, we were supposed to go to Beverly Glen. Oh, I came home from Beverly. We stayed at Breakfast Club for exactly 2 hours. At 11 o'clock, the car was empty. I mean, the donuts were given off to Will at camera 3, and we were out of there. And that was a blur of a drive home. But anyway, then I got in bed, and I didn't come out for a day and a half.
No.
Yeah, that was really, really weird. And then that was the worst night of sleep I've had in a long time. So there you go. I looked seasick. Yeah, I did not feel good. Danbury Chive, yes, we're taking you. Are you kidding me? This would be the best thing in the world. So then then we were supposed to go to Beverly. Oh my gosh, he is here. Oh, hang on. I don't think it's working, but it's not you. I can do this. Hang on, and I'll do this. Can you hear me now?
It's Jay and Nicole.
Coraline!
What do you say? East Coast feet. Tell him, East Coast feet.
East Coast feet.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Hi, Coraline.
What do you say to Uncle Jay? Say hi.
Hi.
For everybody else, this is, if I'm Uncle Jay, I guess it's my niece, Coraline, for goodness sake. But this is Danbury Chive's little munchkin. This is the East Coast Feed's little munchkin.
Right? Look, you're on TV. Look at that.
She's like, I like it better when they don't talk to me.
Don't worry, she was talking lots earlier. Jonesy, tell Uncle Jay and Nicole, what were you doing? What are you playing with?
Well, I'm playing with a Paw Patrol truck, but it turns out into a whole hospital, and everything like opens on, like the top opens on it, and the driver like thing opens on it, and then like the bed goes up and the switch goes up and down.
Tell Uncle Jay, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I'm gonna be a scientist and
And? Tell him. Veterinarian.
I don't want.
Oh, you don't want to be a veterinarian anymore? She doesn't want to be a veterinarian anymore.
No, we've moved on, Dad. Seriously, get with it. Now, on to the scientist stuff. That's exciting work. Also, when you said hospital truck, is that also known as anything else?
It's also known as this truck on the floor.
Oh, it is a hospital truck. I thought ambulance.
It is.
I thought ambulance.
No, it's all hospital truck. It services all the horses and all the pops that we have.
So what are pops?
Coraline, can you show Uncle Jay one of your pops?
Well, this is Penelope, and she's a pop. So their whole bodies wiggle, and their heads are real big.
There you go. And Uncle Jay, just keep in mind when you get some viewer mail coming in the next couple of days, just remember that I said, "Hey, you guys!"
Gee, I wonder what movie it could be from.
I'm just saying it's coming to you.
Throughout our entire relationship, the Kazman and I have always, there's certain things. I used to buy him stereo equipment, and he used to buy me DVDs and T-shirts, and it seems like no matter what, he always finds a T-shirt that there's just no way in a million years I would have stumbled upon. And he's like, I'm going to get that for Jay.
Well, you might be blessed with your very first pop, Mr. Ryan, because it's on its way to you.
Oh, I see. It's not a T-shirt. This is exciting. All right, well, then we'll have to open it up on the show.
There you go. We just want to say hi since we saw you guys going live.
Thank you so much. We love you guys. I'm loving that you're home with that little girl right now. Where's Brooke?
Brooke just yelled hi from upstairs.
Ah.
Baby, naked? Oh, she's naked. Sorry. She's taking a shower.
Oh. I don't see the problem. Let's go say hello. Let's go say hello.
Anyway, we miss you guys. We just want to say hi and give you some East Coast Speed Love live.
We love you so much. That key thing last week at BMW was a riot. I've had something similar to happen to me. Luckily, it wasn't on the roof. It was just like in some luggage and whatever. But I was like, how does this car keep starting? We can't figure it out because nobody can find the key. It was the opposite problem, actually.
Yeah, it was a very costly error on one of the boys' parts, so he got a little talking to.
Does the dealership pay for it at that point?
Oh, yeah. The tow bill, the key, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, at least the car's fixed.
Yeah, thank God. It worked out great. And then we went and delivered it back to Manhattan.
Gonna need those 5 stars on that customer survey if you don't mind. We love you guys. We love you. Have a great night.
All right, bye, guys. Say goodbye to Uncle Jay and Nicole.
Bye.
We love you.
Bye, Coraline.
Bye.
Wow, he reads a lot.
I know he does.
Oh, that was awesome. Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider's in the house. The Khalid Mourner. That can't be right. Carissable. Hi, Carissable. Hospigol for the win. Oh, so you know what that is. Kayla Marzo, do you really know what that is? Anyway, so while I was laid up in that crazy coma, Kayla Marzo and other people, everybody, thanks to everybody, were sending messages. And he's like, because you're not dying. You just can't think of anything interesting to do, which, of course, I recognize as a line from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So I respond with, I didn't sing it, but I'm going to now for you. When Cameron was in Egypt's land, let my Cameron go. Remember that? You remember that? Oh, so great.
do.
So I'm telling you, buddy, you actually provided me with a little bit of relief. I really appreciated it. No, just how she said it. Yeah, I know, hospital. I thought she said hospital truck. Well, I guess she did say hospital truck, but I thought she meant ambulance.
I did,
And then
too.
when we saw the thing, it was a whole different deal.
Yeah.
All right, so back to this now. We'll put this back in. Now you can probably hear better, I'm guessing. Should be improved. And I'm sorry I didn't have you on the big screen before. I forgot I'm out of practice. I feel like it's been weeks since I've done the show. Also, we should talk about that. We had a really good stretch of guests there, and then we've been doing a lot of shows, just us. Don't know how or why that worked out. This is probably going to be the last one for a while. Our guests up, I can't even say it. I'm looking at these names, and I can't believe that there's not actually gaps. Our buddy Sean Lindauer was supposed to be with us last week. It was his birthday, the whole thing. We ended up scrapping it and moving things around. Lynn Woodward was supposed to be here today. She ended up getting a... Did I say this already? Did we already talk about this?
No.
Okay. She ended up getting a ride... I can't remember where. I think Thermal, but I can't remember the racing series. But anyway, she's a professional driver, so she ended up getting an offer. Somebody backed out of an event, so she ended up having to go drive. So she couldn't be here today. But everything has simply moved. Sean Lindauer will be our guest on Thursday, and Lynn Woodward will be our guest next week. So that just moved. And then following that immediately, I think maybe in the middle, is Manuel Carrillo, who has his new show is Seduced by Speed on Motor Trend. Then we've got Matt Farah. Then on the same week, we've got Rob Corddry. And then we've got Jay. Well, no, we don't have Jay. That Jay Leno's not booked yet. But Ant is coming, Jensen is coming, and Spike Ferriston are all coming. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
That's crazy. Actually, Spike still might be a Zoom, but whatever. We'll figure that out. Those guys are all going to be on the show. So huge guests coming up, and I'm trying to keep it stacked from here on out now that we've got a little bit. So now hopefully it's just maintenance. You know how it is. Schedules change, but it is what it is. Bobby Bass is here. What's up? We were just talking about you before. I'm sure your ears are bleeding, itching, however that goes. Burning?
That's what I...
That's better than bleeding.
Ringing. I don't know.
Talked about the phones. Talked about Good Vibes. No, I didn't talk about Good Vibes Breakfast Club. I talked about our Good Vibes Breakfast Club. The shirts are still available. I'm not wearing one, but I'm going to be Thursday. This is available from Carpe Gear. Highly recommend. Also, there's a ball cap. Super cool. But the Dual Shift shirts, the GVBC shirts from Dual Shift, they're back in stock, and they are the sticker packs. That's the other thing. Ugh, thanks. Sorry. GVBC shirts are back in stock, and there are now sticker packs as well. Sticker packs. That was the thing. I couldn't think of it. I'm like, there's something here. Just keep talking. It'll come to you. Hey, y'all. Ears ring or burn. Yeah, no bleeding. It's you ever see Ghostbusters 2? I mean, I'm sure you have. There's a line in it. I don't know why. You're not even going to remember this from the movie, but the walls of the 53rd precinct are bleeding.
I do.
So fun. So yeah, get the sticker pack. The shirts are available. They're back in stock. They were out of stock for like a week or two. They're back. All good. They go out very quickly. The vaccine I talked about. Tradecraft. Oh, I didn't talk about that. We had gone down to Tradecraft recently, as you know, and they gave us one of these bags full of a lot of stuff for you, right? And I showed some of the stuff on the show. I had the big thing out and everything. The issue is that these sticky vapes are very, very good, and they work very well, and they go very quickly.
Yeah.
So with that, we ran out of sticky vape. It was the least of the things they gave us. They gave us tons of the other stuff, whatever. So I called our buddies over there. He said, yeah, just come on down.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
So I just want to give a huge shout out to our friends over here at Sticky Vape and Tradecraft Farms. Here it is, Tradecraft Tuesday. I'm opening up a fresh gelato for you.
Oh, can't wait.
You can have that as well. This was Blue Dream, I think, that we've got cooking from last week. But I would say that you are set for at least a little bit. Call it the month, but if you guys if you guys partake in the vape products, I am telling you, you're going to want to check out the Sticky Vape stuff. We have tried them all. I don't know that that's literal, but we have tried just about everything that is out there.
It tastes really real.
That's what it is. Somehow they're making this taste like flour. I don't know how that works. This to me tastes like when I would do your little hose thing with you.
It smokes like that.
That's high praise because that is exactly what you need. So I told them that it was helping you, which it is, and that's why all of this. So huge shout out to Sticky Vape and Tradecraft Farms and our friends Jeff and Tommy over there. Specifically, I want to talk about them because they're my Porsche buddies. And Tommy gave me something. I don't even know if I should say it on the show, but he's always had a 911. He had a 997. Then he got a 991. It was a GTS. Tommy just got a 991 GT3 Touring. Yep, already has it.
Amazing.
He showed me pictures. It's gorgeous. They'll be up at Breakfast Club next week. Also, those guys are going to be on the show soon, too. So,
Oh, good.
yeah, I don't know when. They've got 5 o'clock is the time when they're both normally in meetings in the office, so they're going to have to take off work early that day. So they just have to figure out the scheduling, but they both will be here soon, too. Not Guilty 997, what's happening? 3PH, 3M, 3RA joined. I am Steven Scott is here. Damn, gotta go. Bye, Killamarzo. Great to see you. Grand Tourer is here. Yazzie Mini Martha. Yazzie Mini Martha, what's up? What's over here on Instagram, on YouTube? All right, we got some stuff. Bubbles! Yes! Let's do the bubbles. You asked for it. Here we go. Pro Driver wants the bubbles. There we go. Getting the bubbles. All right. That's done. Now, there we go. This is good. This is cool. Didn't make that connection. Now I want to change it. I wonder what I said before to make that. Any chance you can add the Instagram feed to the YouTube broadcast? Yes, and I'm sorry I didn't do that before. That was my fault. That was my fault. I got to it as you saw. Here we go. Good job on that. Ralph Lauren, good job on that. You guys are here on both platforms. Super cool. Really grateful. Does anybody want to talk? I wanted people to call in tonight. More than just Danbury Chive. Although it was cool to see Coraline because the last time I had an actual kind of interaction with her like that, I was holding her and she couldn't talk.
Yeah, I just
She was
remember
weak.
her being really tiny.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
All right. I'm getting all this out of here so I can do some commercials. At the very least, Gus and Cars is here. The Rodonculus. Wish we could get Tradecraft in Ohio. I know. I don't know if they're California only right now because I know they're working on doing some things in other states, but I don't know if Ohio is one of them currently. I'm telling you, when you actually do, though, when it does happen, because I do believe that it will, I believe all of this will be fully legal soon. I've seen enough of it now. You know, I'm over the, oh, we're doing something wrong. Like, there is so much business, big business, people. I'm talking big business, big money behind this and in this, that it ain't going anywhere. And it will be rolled out. And if your state doesn't have it, it will soon. I don't mean to be I'm not the guy. I swear to God. I told you the story before. I never smoked pot as a kid. I don't smoke pot now. But when it comes to this cannabis stuff, there is something to it. And it's helping her. And I can see the results. So, and this stuff more than other stuff.
I'm glad you see it because I feel it, but
It's not, I don't know if it's doing anything for your body, but your head and
mentally,
your awareness.
That's what I really focus on.
That's you. That's the you we all know.
Yeah. The rest of this is manufactured.
Yes.
I built this shit really aggressively.
What's up, Skip Floss? Oh, geez,
Hey,
I gotta do
buddy.
this again. Theoretically, in a world,
Howdy, Ryans.
theoretically, in a world where we can rebuild and if you watch any science fiction movie these days, we're at the point where we're removing someone's consciousness when they die or before they die, whatever, and putting it into some sort of synthesized body or whatever. So if we're doing it in the movies, just like everything else, guys, it's going to happen in real life. So at some point, you just won't need this body. We'll just get you a fresh one. We'll 3D print it.
Yeah.
You can look however you want.
And I'm finally okay with that.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Hello, Skip Floss. Producer Skip is on the line. Good to talk to you. Wilton,
How you
Connecticut,
guys
you're on the air.
I was, when Danbury Chai was on, I was thinking that I should get Corey and myself. We should go crash go to Ridgefield BMW and get a super East Coast feed going or something.
He would absolutely love that.
That would be
He would
awesome.
feel like a star at work. A couple people from the not from the show, but a couple like people who watch the show have popped in to like say hello or whatever, and it's weird for the other people. I think he loves it. I think Kaz loves it.
Is he a sales guy there?
No service, and that's what makes it easier because he's there every day.
Right.
And he's in the back, and there's only like 3 of those service guys versus the 20 salespeople or whatever. So it's kind of easy.
Yeah.
You could bombard him very, very swiftly.
Hey, you were talking about the drive-in stuff like you were doing that you went to and everything. Did you ever go to the Norwalk drive-in?
No. In fact, I don't know that it was around. Was it around?
It may not have been. I just remembered as a kid.
Where was it?
You know where Crazy was it? I think it was Crazy Eddie, but then went to Best Buy.
I do know where Crazy Eddie was on the Post Road in Norwalk.
Yes, it was that whole. It had the comedy shop in front of it, or the comedy club in front of it.
Yes, it was the little strip mall across the street from like Caldor and whatever.
And it was and it had the big trucking company was down there too.
Gardella.
Valerie Trucking was.
Oh,
there.
Valerie too, yeah, and Gardella
Right,
was
so
over there too.
Valerie on that corner. That whole corner was a drive-in.
No, I didn't know that.
When I was growing up there, when I was
So-
growing up in New Canaan.
Is that towards the fire station or down towards like Darien?
Down toward Darien.
Got it. Okay, then I do
So
know.
if you-
I
if
do.
you-
Oh wait, no. Well, of course it was. It was up on the hill. I never
Yes.
went to it, but yes, it was like a brown, not stone,
Yeah,
but like a.
really crappy house out front that was a comedy club for about a week and a half.
No shit. Yes, I do remember
I
that.
went to one, Nicole. I went to one show there. It's like
Wasn't it?
It literally went from oh, there's a comedy club there to I'm going to a show at the comedy club. Oh, there's no comedy club there anymore.
Connecticut's hard. It's a hard sell.
What, didn't we had Treehouse Comedy? Wasn't that?
Yeah, was that in Westport?
I can't remember. Treehouse. It might have been Westport or South Norwalk. And then they
yeah.
used to do comedy sometimes at the Westport Country Playhouse in Westport.
Okay.
The Newman Newman and Joanne Woodward's, it's sort of their stewarded place.
Yeah, and they're both gone, and you guys had nothing to do with it.
No, I'll tell you, the tie-in though is that the last time I ever saw either of them, I saw them together with my mother walking down the streets of Manhattan to go see this version of this show. When Letterman first moved to CBS.
There's a picture in my brother-in-law's house of him directing Paul Newman in a video shoot for the camp.
Hole in the Wall Gang.
Yeah. So Doug went up and did my brother-in-law Doug went up and did a...
Doug Fannin. I know Doug.
Yes. Oh, that's right, yeah. And he does... We actually went up to New Haven to celebrate his 65th. And
wow, you guys are old.
I know. Well, I just hit 61, so...
Congratulations.
It's funny because I realized that how young I was when I was doing theater with you at the Play Shop.
You must have been younger than I am now, right?
Yeah, I was younger than you are now.
Yeah.
I was in my early 30s.
Damn. And we all thought you were so cool.
So when I watch you grow up and be 40 or whatever, and I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah. All right. Well, good to know that's not going away because we all feel that way.
No, I was talking at work the other day. I have not had any kids yet that I've had in school.
Oh my God! But that's coming, isn't it?
But there are teachers that have had kids of kids.
That has to be so turby.
I don't remember the last.
Really is. I mean, it's trippy enough for me to see kids I worked with in kindergarten like graduate high school.
Right.
I bet.
And then they come up and you're like, you remember this little 2.5-foot person going, "Hey, everybody," and then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, Mr. Skip, how are you?" I'm like,
Do you?
I didn't piss you off, did I?
Do you actually remember the majority of these people? Because I don't know how you could, but yet somehow I bet you do.
Well, because there's thousands of kids that I've seen, and I think that a lot of it is they'll some of them you do remember. Some of them, like the face hasn't changed that much. It's just another 3 or 4 foot higher than off the floor, or the
personality at the time, or something stuck out.
Yeah, and some, but I was at the high school doing a show, children's theater show, and there were some kids there. I may have just been walking around taking pictures for the district, and there were some kids coming out of the home ec department there because they bake cookies and sell them in the cafeteria.
Oh wow!
And a pack of kids came out, and I instantly knew I knew at least one of them, and the woman who I knew was like, "Yeah, so what's my name?" And I'm like, oh my God! And everybody else is like, "It starts with C," And when she finally told me what class we were in together, then I had it instantly. I knew exactly who it was.
Wow.
But then there's another kid there who goes, "I was in the class with you too," and I'm like, "What class?" And he said with the kid. He said the teacher, and I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I was really short." I'm like, "Oh, I know exactly who you are."
That's funny. That's funny. Sometimes it's almost like by class if you can associate who they're with. But you were the short guy that year. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah. Or the kid who threw up on the bus, or whatever.
I want to know what you think of Alex Bloom. Have I ever asked you this?
No.
Because I talked to him about this recently, and I was like, "What? No, I don't think so." Well, maybe. Well, I don't know. I said I'll ask him. So you can say anything you want, honestly. He's prepared.
I think he's a highly creative person.
I agree.
He's probably a good dancer and a good sense of humor. No,
I know I'm putting you on the spot. Don't worry, you don't have to answer.
We didn't work together that much. He walked out of a show on me.
Oh, that's the answer. That's going to be the answer.
You got there.
I would have a chip on my shoulder forever if that was the case. And he didn't say that about you. He said, "I don't think Skip ever liked me."
That makes sense, though.
Well, it's really funny because he and I guess his girlfriend at the time and this other girl came into a show that I was doing and auditioned for it, and he was going to be I think Rusty Charlie in Guys and Dolls.
That's the year I'm thinking it was too.
Well, that's what he read for anyway, and so I mean he was going to have because the guy's talented.
Yeah.
I mean, he writes. He's talented.
Yeah.
And so he's going to have.
He's just got that attitude problem.
He's gonna have maybe. But at least he did that. I'm sure he's more humble now. Life tends to sort of dampen that teenage I can do anything kind of thing.
Amen.
I had that attitude when I was that age.
Yeah.
And but it was really interesting because
I had it till like 6 minutes ago.
Yeah, until the lights came on.
Right.
And they came in as a group of 3 friends, right? He and I guess his girlfriend and her best friend or something. And then we did the whole thing, and all of a sudden he said, "I think we're going," and we're walking out. So he wasn't. I don't think he was cast and walked out of the show. I think he just left audition or left callbacks.
Yeah.
Maybe. And so he left, and the girlfriend left, and then the second girl, who I'm still friends with on Facebook, who has got kids and lives in the Pacific Northwest.
No need for the disclaimer, but that was good.
Right.
She does not live in the next town over. There is nothing going on.
She came back, or no, when they left, she looked at me and said, "I don't know what to do." And I said, "Well, I'm not judging you by what they're doing. So you are welcome to stay, and you are more than welcome to stay. And that's not going to have any impact on your relationship with me or the production staff or this show."
Mm-hmm.
And she stayed, and then afterwards she said it was one of the greatest experiences of her life, and she had such a good time, and she was fun, and that's why we're still friends on. That's why we're friends on Facebook.
Awesome story. Awesome story.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I know that I was a little shit when I was a kid, so I'm sure there's all sorts of people that I had that moment with my Skip Plus. That just hopefully I didn't piss you off at that.
I've done
Hopefully
that.
we never had that moment.
I've done that too. So yeah, no, I mean it's when you're a teenager, you think you know more than the old people.
Oh, you do, and you're positive of it.
Oh, you're absolutely positive. I fortunately grew up in a neighborhood that kind of told you that wasn't necessarily the case.
Where in New Canaan did you grow up? Because I used to live there too.
I live in New Canaan.
Yeah.
I was off of Bank Street on Whitney Avenue.
When I was, when my parents first divorced, when I was 6 or whatever. In fact, I lived in New Canaan while I still went to Miller, as a matter of fact.
Where were you?
Parade Hill Road.
Oh, Parade Hill, okay.
You know it? It was just it's a little, you don't need, if you don't live on it, you drive past it.
Yeah.
It's a through.
You look like a driveway and you drive by it.
Yeah. Yeah, 86
yeah.
Parade Hill Road. It was a duplex across from the little dead end where there was a little pond and a little turnaround. I used to ride my bike across the street, yeah.
Well, dead ends are the best place to grow up, I think. I mean, we were basically a dead end. We had...
and there was tons of kids in the neighborhood. It was the only time I'd ever had that in my whole life.
But my next door neighbor, I said that when I was talking about the Vista Cruiser, I had a redheaded girl living next door, and... Donna whatever from the show. Yeah, I mean, and she was great. We had a great neighborhood growing up, especially as teenagers. We had a really great neighborhood. And her dad was in Pearl Harbor. And the next house over, the dad was on one of the first ships to get to the Indianapolis.
Jeez.
It's
the greatest generation.
And then the third house down, there were Italian immigrants.
Oh,
and
they're just grateful to be here.
No, the wife grew up at the base of Monte Cassino.
Volcano?
Where the Americans blew up the monastery trying to get the Germans off the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I remember as a teenager studying history saying to her, I have to ask you, what did you see in Mussolini? And she said, you know what? As a teenage girl, he was a rock star for us.
Yeah.
He was like the quintessential Italian man that every woman in Italy wanted.
Hitler was supposedly very charming.
Yes.
I'm being serious.
To the right people.
That's what I mean. Very obvious. Very not to every audience. No, it's weird how the history. You don't know what's happening while you're in it.
It was really funny because the guy from Pearl Harbor, his oldest daughter lived in an apartment over the garage behind with her husband, and we were all at a party or a neighborhood thing, and she was being very anti-war and anti-violence and saying that we were the only country that ever dropped the atomic bomb and everything else. And the guy,
that's not true.
the guy who was on the going to the Indianapolis said, "Look, as one of the guys who was standing off Japan when we were going to lose 7 million men taking the island of Japan, I was totally fine with it."
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a different level of resolve.
Yeah, and this turned into a very historical and boring conversation.
Well, but did the elder party feel heard and understood afterwards? Like, was the point made? Did the point land?
I think so. Oh, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Well, then, lesson learned, right? Then that was a learning moment.
Well, and it was funny because the dad of the redheaded girl, he never trusted us. I mean, the neighborhood was friendly and stuff like that, but he was always like, as we got into our teens, he'd always look at you like, and
yeah, that's where you got it. Okay, you used to give us kids that look.
Yes,
we'd give some stupid excuses like, okay, you're going with that.
I was walking home one day with her and a bunch of people from the neighborhood, and I had to do a report for like 10th grade history or something, and I said I have to interview somebody who did something, who was in a historical event, and she said, "Well, my dad was in Pearl Harbor," and I was like, "Excuse me?" So I asked him, and we talked for like 3.5, 4 hours about his experiences and stuff over the kitchen table in his house, and after that, he was totally fine with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just because you showed interest, because you showed respect.
Because I showed interest and I showed respect. Yeah. I wanted to hear what he had to say.
Yeah. My grandfather was that way too. He wouldn't talk unless the right audience was present.
Yeah, he was on the vessel that was tied up next to the Arizona.
Oh, beautiful. Gee whiz. Yeah. He could still be there, for God's sake.
Yeah. So he had a very interesting experience. My father-in-law was the same way. My father-in-law was a air sea rescue guy in the Pacific. And
bye, Late for Biking. Thanks for being here. Sorry, somebody's leaving.
Oh, hey, Late for Biking.
Yeah.
And he really didn't talk about it that much. He talked about it with his son, but not with his daughter, my wife. And I remember going to a family event and coming home, and Laura and I were living together. And I said, "God," she's like, "Thanks for coming to a family event. We don't think we were married yet." And she's like, "Thanks for putting up with the family and coming to the family event." And so on. And I said, "Oh, it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot of stuff, and your dad's great and everything." And I said, "I had no idea he was lost at sea." And she's like, "Excuse me?" I said, "Twice." And she goes, "Pardon?"
No way.
He never told the story, And before he passed last summer at 96, not from COVID. And
that's what my grandfather did last summer from COVID, 96.
Oh, okay. So we've got both bases covered, which is nice.
That's right. No politics here, folks.
No. And I got my last conversation with him in depth was clarifying some of his stories on a deck of our hotel room overlooking the beach in Hilton Head, which was fun. So.
Wow. Well, you're a bit of a historian anyway. You're like a learner for life, right?
I'm more of I'm a history nerd. I just I don't actually retain a lot of it either. My wife will say that I retain too much, but I like watching Jeopardy.
Sure. Who's your new favorite to fill in? Not fill in, but who's the new? Do you like any of the new contenders for Jeopardy host? Alex Trebek died. You know that, right?
What?
I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. Oh, I knew I should have sent him a text.
Did Nicole mention him in passing to somebody at a coffee shop, and that was it?
Probably.
I like Ken Jennings just because I think Ken Jennings has the feel of it and knows the show and stuff. he needs some polishing, and he'll get there. I think if he does it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's the right choice. I don't know that he's the one they will pick, but I think he is the right choice from the Jeopardy family standpoint. He's the only guy who's been there more than Alex. I mean, he's the guy who's been there the most other than Alex, right? He's the most winningest.
Yes, I think so.
So he's been there at tapings more than any other contestant other than Alex Trebek.
Who was the football guy? I forgot his name.
It wasn't Strahan, was it?
Oh, it might have been. He was good. I liked him too.
Okay. When you say football guy, I don't know.
I'm like, oh, good, a football guy. This is going to be good. But actually, he was really good. I liked him.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I might not have seen him then, maybe. We, all the years that I've been out here, Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune are taped on the Sony lot in stages right next to each other. And I've always said, I should go to a show just because. And I've never done it. Like, we should totally do that.
Hey, who is Elig 201 who's using my school nickname?
Where is it?
It's like 3 up, I think.
Love you. Oh, Mr. Skip. That's right. Well, that's where he got it. He's been watching the show. Elig. Yeah. Is it Elig 201? Hello, Elig 201.
I may have mentioned it here anyway, so. Well, I don't want to monopolize the conversation. Everybody else wants to jump in and everything. I just, you were asking for people to call in, and I'm the 411 call or 911 call. So
I'm grateful. I'll talk to you anytime. I genuinely love you, buddy. I know you probably at this point think that I'm just it's like shtick. You represent a part of a very special time in my life that really it's very weird because it really never should have existed. My dad died. Everything got kind of moved off and bumped. Like the schedule got bumped. And nobody in their right mind really should have ever had that sort of free time that I did to be able to go do those things and do the shows with you and learn from you and everything. And I was just such a sponge at the time that I treated my time at the Play Shop just like every other internship or my time at 30 Rock or anything. I was like, I'm going to learn all the lights. I'm going to learn all the sets. I'm going to learn all the stuff that you guys did. And then you let me do it. And then you're like, all right, cool. Well, you're doing the next show.
When you first came, I think Sarah got you in, right?
Yeah. Shannon Cooney probably.
Shannon did?
Probably, yeah, because I met Sarah through there.
Oh, okay.
Who I still love also to this day.
Cooney's got a brood now, I think. She's got 2 or 3 kids anyway.
I think she's got a lot of kids. I'm not sure. I think she's putting her mom.
She looks about the same.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I haven't talked to her in many, many years since I lived in Connecticut.
We're
actually,
on Facebook too, back and forth. So, no, it's funny because when you first came in and everything, I was like, oh great, here's another,
loafer. Here's another loafer.
But
I appear a loafer because I do all the work in my brain, and then I go to action, and it's like, oh, look at that, he did it.
But you jumped in and you did so much to get our productions done. I mean, you were like everywhere. You were one of those people who just was like, I'm not doing anything right now. What else can I do? And you just jumped in and made stuff happen. And that's why we stayed in touch.
But honestly, that's what I look back at with such fondness, the ability to do that. I then went into union work where it was like, don't touch that. That's not your job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I liked being in local television. Local theater is the exact same thing. You're just telling your little stories. You're putting on a little show. There's something so romantic about that to me. And literally in that place on Lover's Lane in a tiny little old chapel building, I mean, it couldn't be a better place to tell a story. And I sucked it all up. And I really appreciate that. I think you might be talking about How to Succeed, where it was like there was a handful of things, and you were short-staffed anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And just like one thing, the dominoes kept falling of like, I don't know if we're going to have a show this year, because it was like Tori had somebody booked to be in the band, and then he fell out, so I did it. And
right.
I did the set too. Yeah. Well, sort of did the set. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Very fond memories.
Joe Scholes joined.
Thank God. I was wondering where he was.
Well, Joe Scholes is one of the most amazing second grade teachers you ever want to see.
Oh. Let's see, who was mine? I think I was already in South School for second grade. So is he at your school?
Yeah, he's currently at our school and is an amazing. And I'm not just saying that, Joe, because you're watching this right now, but He's an absolutely amazing second grade teacher.
Well, I hope that he enjoys this.
Well, I'll hear about it tomorrow morning.
What the hell were you doing? Who were those people?
Yeah. When I walk into Yellow Court, Joe's door will close.
Let's see. So did you go through the New Canaan school system too?
I did I went to West in kindergarten.
I went to South School for second and third. That's why I was asking.
Okay, and then I went to South School for fifth through. And I went fifth all the way through high school.
Did they have a song when you were a kid? Because I still remember.
No, not that I remember.
Well, then I'm not going to sing it. I'll tell you that right now.
I think we all wanted to hear it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think my mother would be the only person who actually remembers it. But it was the kids didn't write this; we were taught it. But it was like, "Where do all the cool kids meet? South School, South School. Where do all the da da da?" It was like some take on a popular song at the time. But that wasn't going on when you were there.
Was Dr. Wall the music teacher when you were there?
Say again.
Was Dr. Wall still a music teacher there?
Boy, that sounds
So
familiar.
Always wore a black suit and rode a bike down South Avenue.
I don't know about that. The black suit's familiar. The bike I don't remember. What I do remember was that what I learned in that music class, though, was it was at the same time that I just brought this up the other day, that Beverly Hills Cop had come out, whatever those 80s. And we were being taught about the electric synthesizer, like the Moog or the Korg or whatever one was going on, and we were taught about that song from Axel F. That was the first song that was entirely composed on a
synthesizer, right?
Yeah.
That song.
Do you remember that? I remember being
that,
taught that in that class, and it might have been from that guy because that black suit sounds familiar.
I'm pretty sure that movie is about 20 years after I was there, so
No.
10 or 15 years. Yeah.
I meant, did you remember? Were you
Murphy
there?
was still in 7th grade when I was in South School.
I meant factually, historically speaking. Did you remember that same note about the synthesization? That's very funny, Skip Plus.
I do remember that. Yeah, I always thought it was really cool because of that. It was something you hadn't really heard before.
Same here, and that's the same note I brought up the other day. Thank you.
Nice.
That was worth it. Also, that was the first time I'd learned about Velcro, was in that same music class, because whoever the music teacher was, and I think it might have been Mr. Wall with the black suit, was like Larry David offended by the sound of Velcro, because it was like a music class, and kids are just whip.
Yeah.
It was when they first started putting it on sneakers. They called them zips back then.
Yeah.
It was a huge thing. Yeah, it was a huge thing.
In education nowadays, that's known as the Velcro test. Like if you've got a collection of kids and you're teaching them something and you start hearing Velcro, you're losing them.
Oh, that's interesting. That's right.
If they're playing with their Velcro, then they're
fidgeting.
I don't know. I think I see Mrs. Sarno is here too, who's a second grade teacher. I think she's second or first. My apologies, Amanda. She's also another fabulous teacher from Miller Driscoll.
I think, my second grade teacher was really old. Like, we might have been one of her last classes. Mrs. Siland. Oh, you weren't there for second grade.
I wasn't there in
later.
first and second grade, no.
All right, well, let's go to Wilton then. Miller School. Was Mrs. Reed or Mrs. Fagan still there when you were there?
No, yes.
Really?
I worked with Susan Reed, yeah.
There was, Susan Reed. It was R-E, I think there was R-E-E and there was an R-E-A-D, and I think she was...
She was R-E-E-D.
Yeah, I think so. That's right, yeah. That's what I meant. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
She was really, 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 really nice.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She was really nice. She retired about, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, I think.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
She's my kindergarten teacher at the
So
school he works at.
That's so cool.
My kindergarten teacher at West School was Mrs. Gormley, and I still remember her. I remember most of my teachers. Jump ahead a billion years, and my in-laws were staying with us over the Christmas holiday probably 15 years ago. And they wanted, not be hanging out with us the whole time. They wanted to go out to dinner with their friends coming back to the area and stuff like that. And
understandable.
so they said the Gormleys are picking us up. So my wife's parents were best friends with my kindergarten teacher. And she pulls up, and I got my daughter in my arm like this, and walk out to the car to say hi. And I was like, "Oh my god!"
Unbelievable. So it's the moment that I was talking to you about you before being the teacher, and these kids coming back to you. How cool.
Yeah. I did a show 6 years ago, I guess, at the Play Shop. I did Relative Values, and Mrs. Gould, who was probably she's probably gone by the time you were there, but Mrs. Gould was my fifth grade teacher. Brought my fifth grade. She showed up because she and her husband were very involved in the Play Shop, which is probably why we did the Mikado in fifth and sixth grade. So
it's a little above the curve.
Yeah. Well, we did Night Before Christmas, which she wrote, I think, for fifth grade. And then Mrs.
Must
Ball,
be rich.
I, by the way, was absolutely resplendent as the Jack in the Box. My sixth grade teacher had us do the Mikado, and I think it may have been a whole school sixth grade thing. And at the time, I was very, very happy because I had the best costumes. You had to bring your own costume.
Oh.
And my grandfather had like a silk kimono pants, jacket set with an embroidered dragon up the back that I got as a sixth grader to wear.
Wow.
So I basically became scenery. I had four lines, but I was on stage the entire time.
Keep him out there. He really ties the room together.
Yes. Yeah.
Bouncing back to New Canaan real quick, if you're done with that.
That's fine.
I have something. I don't know.
Go wherever you lead, Jay.
I don't know that we've ever talked about this, but it's my childhood leaving South School. Because I was only there for second and third grade, I was a little kid. So I and my mom worked, and this was after my parents divorced. So it's school and then something else. I used to go to the Y after school, which was right down the street from South School.
Yep.
But we used to walk through the woods, cut across by the high school, and then walk and cut through like where Waveney Park is. You know where that is?
Yeah.
Do you remember Waveney Park as a kid? Do you remember any of the history or why it is or any of that stuff at all?
As far as I remember, it was a Shell Oil heiress.
Yes, or some oil company.
And they bought the property. They built the first house, which wasn't big enough.
Right. Yes, you remember the same shit I did.
And then they built the second house behind it, which they didn't like, and tore down.
Yep.
And then built the new house. Well, I guess they lived in it for a little while they were building the current house in the front of it or something like that.
I remember exactly all of that convoluted shit because they would tell you on the tour. You could get tours of this place. Like they would tell you that stuff as a kid.
Yeah.
Now it's like the town park and rec center.
Yeah,
Okay, so I am having a conversation with Christopher Lloyd, the actor, and his wife. And actually, I'm having the conversation with his wife, but she said, "Oh, you're from Connecticut. Oh, Chris is from Connecticut." And I said, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." Like, okay. She's like, "Yeah, what part?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "What part?" She said, "New Canaan." I said, "I used to live in New Canaan."
I think I know where this is going.
You do, I'm sure, because where else could it go? She said,
Right.
You probably know Chris's house then. And I was like, I mean, where was it? I don't know, maybe. I lived on Parade Hill Road. I probably don't know Christopher Lloyd's house.
And I was 4.
Yeah. And she goes, "Well, do you know Waveney?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I thought she's going to be like, "Well, it's around the corner. You take a right at Waveney."
Yeah.
Waveney.
That was
Waveney
his house.
was his. Christopher Lloyd is the son of the heiress you're talking about.
The heiress.
He grew up with the silver spoon probably everywhere. And and he still worked hard as hell to go get classically trained as an actor.
Yeah.
He still worked his ass off. He went and made it on his own, even though money has and never, ever, ever will be a problem for anyone in his family.
Well, he would probably like to know that the powerhouse for the estate is now a community theater.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I remember that. It was off to the like
if
a brick
facing
building
house,
to the
it's off
side.
to the left down the hill a little bit.
Yeah.
So the powerhouse is the Town Players in New Canaan.
How cool is that?
I've done one show there, and then next to it is the old carriage barn, and that's an art gallery now.
They go back and visit whenever they're on the East Coast, so he probably knows. But what was amazing was, the moment that all happened, and I was like, I used to ride my bike through the wood. Like you have, I grew up there. I grew up playing at Christopher's house. And so she calls him over, and now we're having a whole big conversation about it because I genuinely know this stuff. And he's like, are those all the books in the library? And I'm like, yeah, because this is how the man talks.
Absolutely.
And I was like, yeah. And he's like, those are all my mother's books. And I was like, that's amazing.
That's a pretty good impression,
This is how he said it to me. So it's a mimic. It's not an impression. It's like I hear it back. And he said when he goes home, they went and looked through something once, and he found a note that he had written his mother. Like it's all the same stuff. It's amazing. A museum because it was all their crap.
That's amazing.
It blows me away that I have quite a significant Back to the Future connection as well. So like all of that stuff happening at once was really.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Was it Shell Oil? I could never remember the oil company.
I thought it was Shell. I may be wrong. But
No, you might be right. You may be right. I'm going to start telling it Shell.
When I was growing up, I think we had at least 2 Shell gas stations in town.
And he was, if I'm not mistaken, only child. So that's a very lonely place to grow up.
Yeah.
So I think he found those books, and I think he found acting.
Acting, yeah.
He probably found an invisible friend or something to talk to, and then.
I've heard that from a lot of people that sometimes the most talented people are people who've been forced to grow up by themselves and just entertain themselves.
I'm not that I'm that talented, but that was my story of why I am a little weird. They didn't drop me; they just left me alone.
Weird is good. Weird is good. Conformity's not as good. Weird is good.
Agreed.
Amen. I love that. Thanks for hanging out, Skip Plus. I'm gonna do some commercials and say goodnight.
All right.
Love you. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thanks for staying tuned. I can't believe that some people did hang through our little. Every time Skip and I, it just becomes a nostalgia fest. It's like, what about this place? And remember Dunkin' Donuts? And and now here we become the old people trying to hang up the phone. You got it. AV Car Meets. Need to go. Great show, Jay and Nicole. See you soon. Yes, for sure. And by the way, I'm sorry. I deleted my comment. You made a post about the taco night. Super excited. I deleted my comment only because I felt that I thought I was helping, and then it seemed like I was distracting. So please know there was no hard feelings on my side. I just wanted to get out of your guys' way. That's all it was. I don't want to. I have to say it now. No, because I don't want to. The whole reason I deleted it was so that he made a lovely post about the tacos. And I was like, yay, all this other stuff. And then it turned out like, I was like, yeah, who doesn't love free tacos? I'm like, well, they're not free. You know what I mean? So whatever, I just deleted the whole thing. Got a lot of Bobbies going on tonight. This is the 3rd or 4th Bobby. Bobby Holland Art is here. Hi, Bobby Holland. Furious. F3NG. Preston Fire. Nautilus, if you're still here, Mr. Nautilus, I want to know why you were drunk the other day. Yeah. I mean, you're entitled to do whatever you want, but you said something we were talking about, and you said blah, blah, blah. Oh, sorry, I missed it. I was drunk. What were you doing? Tell us the story. 356B Outlaw is here. Amanda Sarnes is here. Hi, hello. Go Rangers. Go Rangers. Duvit, love a good story. In fact, you know what else is funny? Joel McHale keeps coming up lately, and I can't remember why. Lieberman posted something, and Joel McHale commented, and I was like, what? These two are friends? I'm like, of course they are. Because they really should be. They really should be.
I can see that.
Don't you? Mm-hmm. They should have a show together is what it is.
Yeah.
And so whatever, I commented, I was like, you should come up sometime, Joel McHale. You may find that you know your hosts. You should come up sometime. There's a Breakfast Club thing, obviously. And why am I telling you that? Dubit said, love a good story. And I started telling you that.
I don't know.
Joel McHale started coming up like, damn it. Sorry. It'll come back to me if it's important. Otherwise, in the meantime, St. Clair Insurance. They say all that separates men and boys is the coverage for their toys. St. Clair Insurance has coverage for your toys. Tonight, we're talking about collector cars. If you've got a collector car, you're going to need insurance. And if you... Does everyone else... Let me exit the commercial, but keep it on topic because we're going to come back to the commercial. In the industry, we call this a donut spot. Has anyone else noticed the insane rising prices of cars in general, but pre-owned cars specifically? Like, because I heard about it, I went and priced out our car and what it's worth right now. It's worth absolutely what we paid for it and then a little bit more with all the miles. If it had the miles, hang on, stay with me here for 1 second. If it had the miles that ours did when we bought our car 5 years ago, it would be worth almost $70,000.
Whoa.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
It was crazy to me.
Nuts.
Crazy to me. Blew my mind. And everything is that way. So with rising, values, comes time to think about the insurance. Specifically, if you're with a regular insurance policy on your collector car, but you just have your, I don't want to say any names, but like the main ones, the Geico, all that stuff, you may want to look into some collector car insurance. Agreed value is a good thing if you can find a place that does that. This is just me giving you advice right now. You didn't ask for it. Unsolicited advice coming at you right now from Jay Ryan. But seriously, value is an issue because replacement value is what it's all about when it comes to a collector car. You can't just go get another one. It doesn't work that way. So you have to make sure you're compensated. Highly recommend looking into some specific collector car insurance. To do that, there's only one guy. See what I did there? You're going to want to talk to Jeff St. Clair and St. Clair Insurance. Get some coverage for your toys at coverageforyourtoys.com. Coverageforyourtoys.com.
Coverageforyourtoys.com.
I'm not kidding. Also, go Blue Book your car right now and see what it goes for, because I guarantee it's more than you thought. You may be in a position to make a move that you didn't even know you were. That has nothing to do with insurance.
Crazy trajectory. Jeez.
I think it's a lot of things. I think it's inflation. I think it's people are getting hip to new cars are fine, but they are a thing. And like old cars are another thing, and you can't get more of them. So I think that's finally catching up.
It feels like celebrity when people figured out that people that have been doing it for a while are there for a reason, and they're still there for a reason, versus people that filter through.
Yeah. I think you're right. Anyway, coverageforyourtoys.com, coverageforyourtoys.com.
Coverageforyourtoys.com.
Need a lift lately? Cruise into a healthy 2021 with Cruise into Wellness CBD. The cruise is with a Z. Cruisintowellness.com. Use promo code late night for 20, only 20, but 20 is very generous, so 20% off your order. 20% off your order. Late night. Use promo code late night. Late night. Speaking of late night, this is Jay Ryan from Late Night Playset reminding you to please like, subscribe, and comment below. This feeds the internet algorithm and eventually us as well. Please be a pal, like, subscribe, and comment below. It'll be fire. Whoops. Look at that. You've already started, and we appreciate it. We've hung out way too long. Way longer than I anticipated.
Sure.
We've got a Patreon. You can check it out. You can be a crew member here if you want to. It's that simple. Also, if you are contemplating sponsorship, you can figure that out as well there, and we would love to begin a conversation. The phones I already told you about. The vaccine I already showed you. GVBC and Dual Shift. Told you about that. Get your GVBC merch from Dual Shift. That's at Dual Shift or dualshift.com. Thanks to Motor Trend. Thank you very much to Tradecraft Farms and Tradecraft Farms Tuesday. And that's it. Right? Oh, okay. So stay tuned. Thursday, we got Sean Lindauer. Next week, Lynn Woodward. And then I'm not going to do this all again. But coming up, we've got Manuel Carrillo, Matt Farah, Rob Cordry, Jay Leno, Ant Anstead, Jensen Button, Spike Ferriston, and more. And more. And more. And Skip Ploss will be back, I'm sure.
Lots of talk.
Yeah, and the Tradecraft Farm guys. It's good stuff. Anyway, we love everybody. Thank you very much for hanging out on Instagram. Thank you very much for hanging out on YouTube. I love you. We love you. And we'll see you Thursday.